If you have any answer, you can drop it on the group, on the chat. You can drop it on the chat box. Let's see. I want to read from everyone. So breastfeeding for a sustainable start in life, strengthen what works. What comes to mind? I want to read from us all. Okay. So without further ado, if you are a mother here, father here, I want to see the baby emoji. If you are a health practitioner, I want to see happy emoji. If you are a student, I want to see a book emoji and your location as well. Thank you. Let's see all that now. Before we get started, I can see blessing, happy. So you're a health professional. Thank you for joining in. Okay. I can see a banker, happy health professional. Yes, thank you. So today we'll be having experts that will be talking. We'll be having mothers too that will share their testimony with us all. So I believe we all have our pen and paper. We are here to educate ourselves to know what works and know how to support breastfeeding mothers. So I want us to sit back, get our tea, our hot tea, as our expert and mother they spill the tea to us. So thank you for joining once again. So before that, I want us to have a little quiz. So as we wait for others to join in, I want us to have a little quiz. Okay. Yes, so I have my questions here. So if you have your answer, I want you to drop your answer on the chat box. So just type the answer to the questions. I hope everybody can hear me loud and clear. Can you hear
Yes,
me?
we can.
All right. So the first question is, in the first few days after birth, the breast produce a thick yellowish fluid called liquid gold. What is this special first milk called? In the first few days after birth, the breast produce a thick yellowish fluid called liquid gold. What is this special first milk called? Do we have the answer? If you know the answer, please drop your answer. The first person that got the answer right will be given a gift. Oh, blessing, Ibitayo cholesterol. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, we have ice chats. Akombi. Okay, yes, thank you. Now to the second question. When it comes to environmental sustainability, how does breastfeeding compare to formula feeding? When it comes to environmental sustainability, how does breastfeeding is compared to formula feeding? Can we say breastfeeding is not sustainable? Can we say it is sustainable? So I want to hear that. I want to hear your answer. Can I get the answer? Or should I repeat myself? When it comes to environmental or when it comes to sustainability, can we say breastfeeding is sustainable or not sustainable? I'm not seeing anything here yet. I'm not seeing any answer yet. Okay, probably don't know that. So let me move to another question. Now, what is the full meaning of mackerel? Okay, I've seen one answer. Blessing, Bitayo, breastfeeding, environmentally sustainable with minimal waste. Yes, and a low carbon footprint. Of course, thank you very much. Formula feeding, less sustainable packaging, transport, and waste, resulting, yes, in a higher environmental impact. So breastfeeding is sustainable. Thank you. Can you clap for her? She has done a really good job here. Thank you so much for that. So the third question is, what is the full meaning of mackerel? The full meaning of mackerel. Anyone? Mackerel. Okay. Yeah, type. Okay, okay, okay. So the full meaning of mackerel. Wow, thank you. Oluwabusaya Idowu, Maternal and Child Resource Initiative on Breastfeeding. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So let me just give the last question here. So the question is, mention common myth regarding breastfeeding. The myths, all those myths, we have them, a lot of them. So we want to see all of them. Mention common myths regarding breastfeeding. So let's see if you know them. Okay, Oluwafumilaya here. Your baby will not eat after exclusive breastfeeding. Okay, your baby will not eat. Another one here, Blessing Vita, your breastfeeding makes the breast sag. That's true. I hear that a lot too. Okay, Loabusaya Idowu. Breastfeeding your child will make your breast sag. Yeah, the same. Yes, yes, those are the myths. So we are here today to debunk all those myths. So we have mothers that will be joining us. We have experts that will be explaining the things that we need to do. If there is a new research, maybe there's a new research that said breastfeeding will make your breast sag. So we have those experts here that will tell us if this is true or not. So thank you, because research do change every time. So we cannot say maybe that is the new development now. So thank you for joining in once again. I really, really, really appreciate you. So dietitian Oyebanke, better still advocate Oyebanke, please help me check those people that give their first answer and then note their name and their phone number for their gifts. So thank you. Please, I want to see where we are joining from. Are we joining from the USA? Are we joining from China? So it is very, very important to see that. Okay, Lagos, Nigeria, of course. Now, without further ado, I would welcome, I'm joining from Ile-Ife. Wow, thank you, thank you. From Live, thank you for joining in. Happy World Breastfeeding Week, everyone. So now I'll be reading the citation of our founder. So the reason why we are here today, we can't be here today without our founder, because that's why we gathered together to be part of this program. So I will be reading a citation as we wait for others to join in. So family, it is time for a special moment. So I'll be reading a little thing about her. So now, for those joining us um our founder, she's not just a founder, she is a dietitian, she is a professor of public health, and she is an academic giant. So she obtained a PhD in public health nutrition in 2007. She rose to professor in 2014. And that's not all. She became a registered dietitian in 2022 with over 45 groundbreaking research articles published globally. She writes the rules on nutrition science, but what makes her unique is that she takes science out of the laboratory and brings it straight to our community. I want you to keep clapping for her. Keep clapping for her. Appreciate God in her life. And in 2016, she founded MACRI, because that is why we are here today, the Maternal and Child Resource Initiative on breastfeeding to reduce malnutrition. Since 2019, she has convened the National Nigeria Breastfeeding Assembly. She is an unmatched author, a regular columnist for the Punch newspaper, and she even served as the executive producer for the behavior change radio station drama called Fomoloyan Tako Tabo, sponsored by the Nelson Foundation. So as I continue, our life work is the definition of giving children a sustainable start in life. And welcome with me as I hand over the mic to our founder, Professor Mrs. B. Ogumba. Can you jam your hands together as a welcome her to our virtual podium? Thank you. I can see those clapping. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for joining.
Good morning, everybody.
So she'll be doing her Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I hope
right.
you are hearing me.
Yes, we can.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, ma. We can hear you. Clear.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, Moderator Gracious, for the citation. So good day, everyone, distinguished guests, esteemed resource persons, partners, colleagues, mothers, fathers, health professionals, students, our dedicated MACRI volunteers, and everyone joining us from across Nigeria and beyond. It is my great pleasure on behalf of the Maternal and Child Resource Initiative on Breastfeeding to welcome you to our World Breastfeeding Week 2026 online celebration. Thank you for taking the time to be part of this important event and for your continued commitment to improving maternal, infant, and young child nutrition. Every year, World Breastfeeding Week provides us with an opportunity to celebrate breastfeeding as one of the most effective interventions for ensuring child survival, optimal growth, and lifelong health. The theme this year, Breastfeeding for a Sustainable Start in Life, Strengthening What Works, reminds us that giving every child the best in life begins with prioritizing and sustaining breastfeeding. It underscores that breastfeeding is not only a mother's responsibility alone, but a collective commitment from every one of us. For mothers to initiate, establish, and continue breastfeeding successfully, they need consistent support from families, from communities, healthcare providers, employers, governments, and development partners, and especially MAC. By strengthening the system, policies, and practices that are proven effective, we can all create an enabling environment where every mother is empowered to breastfeed and every child has the opportunity to thrive. At MACRIB, our vision is to create a society where every mother is empowered with knowledge, confidence, and support needed to give every child the best nutritional start in life. Today's program reflects that vision by bringing together experts, practitioners, advocates, and stakeholders to learn, to share experiences, and strengthen our collective effort to protect, promote, and support breastfeeding. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to our distinguished speakers for graciously accepting our invitation to share their expertise. I also thank our partners and supporters whose collaboration continues to make our work possible. Most importantly, I celebrate our remarkable Macri volunteers. Your passion, dedication, and selfless service have enabled us to reach more families and communities with life-changing breastfeeding information and support. You are truly the backbone of Macri. As we commemorate World Breastfeeding Week 2026, let us renew our commitment to ensuring that every mother receives the support she deserves and that every child has the opportunity to benefit from optimal breastfeeding. Together, we can create healthier families, healthier communities, and healthier future. I encourage you to participate actively throughout today's program. We have mothers in the house, we have experts in the house that will share their experiences, ask them questions. And when they share their experiences, don't leave advocate for breastfeeding. Thank you once again for joining us. It is my honor to welcome you all, and I wish us all a productive, enriching, and memorable World Breastfeeding celebration. Thank you, and God bless you all. Over.
Amen. Thank you so much. Can we jam our hands together again for our founder? Thank you so much, man. We really appreciate your work that you are doing for the community. Thank you so much. So now, thank you. Yeah, thank you. So now there was something we did last year. We are able to initiate breastfeeding hub where mothers can breastfeed their children, their child. So we are able to have that, and it was established last year. And I want the technical team to play that for us so everyone can know that we are really working. We are not just a name in the paper. We are doing something. We are doing something physically. Can you play that for us? Thank you. Technical team, over to you.
Please, can you kindly come again on what you expect us to do?
We want you to play the breastfeeding hub, the hub that we have that we initiated last
All
year. Was it
right,
last? Yes.
this year actually.
Okay.
So that will be up shortly.
All right, thank you. I think we can see that picture. So we have something working on the ground. We have something work. So if we are anywhere in Ife, you can
Is one
always
more.
walk up to the place. And okay, you have one more. And also you can support us as well. So we need support. We need support because we are supporting breastfeeding mothers, and we also need support. You can support us as well. So you can play that.
Go on, ma.
All right, so without further ado, we want to get to the nitty gritty of the matter, the reason why we are here today. So I wanted to sit back again, zip your tea as we split the tea. So I want to be inviting mothers. We have those mothers, they are unique people. They are unique mothers because they are in our community group where, we have support, breastfeeding support group where all mothers, if you are first time mother, if you are just get pregnant, or if you are any, like if you are just there to educate ourselves. We are there to educate ourselves. So if you have any question, probably my child is not getting this, my child is not lactating well, and all of that. I'm not lactating well, my child is not feeding well. So we have support group for mothers whereby you can ask questions and you will see experts. We have experts also on the group that they will answer your questions. So we have two of those mothers in that group that will be talking to us today. They will be sharing their experience with us. So if you want to join the group as well, I want the technical team or Advocate Teresa or Advocate Oyebanke to put the support group link on the chat so that anybody can join. Anyone, any mother, maybe you are having difficulty here and there and you don't know how to go about it. So we have a support group where mothers come together to ask their questions. And we also have experts that will answer all your questions. So we have two mothers, like I said earlier. We have Mrs. Fumilayo. She's part of the support group. We have Mrs. Oluwafemi also. She's part of the support group because on that group, I'm also on the group. Because in the middle of night, they'll be asking questions. Okay, what recipe after 6 months? Different kind of recipe that you can give to your child. Say, my child has taken this. Oh, my child finished this thing. So, like, you are not alone on this journey. We don't want you to be alone. And that's why we have mothers here that will be helping us, that will be sharing their experience with us. So I'll be calling on Mrs. Fumilayo. Mrs. Fumilayo, can you unmute your mic and share your experience with us, your first time being a mother, and you share your the ugly parts, the good parts, the not so good parts. So we want to hear everything raw so that everyone can benefit. And before she start talking, if you have any question, probably when she was talking you have some questions, you can put it on the chat. So I'll be reading everything because we have experts here. We have experts here that will answer those questions. So thank you very much. You have the floor, man. Mrs. Fumlayo.
All right. Thank you very much, Advocate Grace. Please, am I audible?
Loud and clear.
All right. Thank you very much, Mark. Good morning to every member of Macrib. Good morning to Mommy Ogumba. Good morning to every breastfeeding mother out there. It's World Breastfeeding Week, so I'll be sharing my experience. Sorry, I apologize for the background noise. I would have stayed in a more serene environment, but fortunately, our light tripped off. There is no light, so there is no way I could charge my gadget. So I had to come to the streets. Okay, so my breastfeeding experience as a first time mother. I think I'll start this way. When all my life, I have always thought once you give birth, breastfeeding is automatic, like breast milk will start flowing. So I was not even prepared that after giving birth there's phase two, like OATHC. So after giving birth, there was breast milk was wanted. It was declared wanted. The breast milk was not coming, so I was like, ha, you know, I've prepared, I'm Mama from a lion's child, so I've prepared. Okay, oh, I'll breastfeed my child. Well, I've discussed with my husband. I've tried to engage the grandmothers. As a pregnant woman, you already know who is likely to come and attend to you first while you're still at the hospital. So I've tried to engage them in my own little way so that everything will be smooth. But fortunately, when after giving birth, there was no breast milk. I was like, wow, this I was like, this one is strong. So the suggestions will be coming in, series of advice, but I was bent on, I've been told, mommy has taught us, first hour after giving birth, ensure you put your child to latch, ensure you at least attempt to breastfeed the child. So where's my baby? They gave me my baby. I put him to latch. In fact, I was like, this thing is not as easy as it seems. So you would have thought in your mind, shebi you just carry the child, you just put breast, when you carry a few hours child, you be like, why is this baby so small? It's not like the child you collect from the mother and is bouncing already. I was like, why is this baby so small like this? In fact, to even get the child to the breast, that's the usual one. So I needed pillow. I did not get any breastfeeding pillow, so they supported me with pillow. Now the child is now at the breast. The child is even suckling well, but there was no breast milk. So suggestions started coming in. Go and get infant food. Go and get different things. Oh, or should we make pap? Go and get glucose and water. I was calm. I was already prepared for this time, that I already know suggestions will be coming in, but I don't know it would be that early. So when people were suggesting, I was just calm. Of course, I've already told my husband, we will not buy anything unless I give my approval. So don't let anybody pressure you. So the health worker was like, let's just give the child glucose and water. I smiled. I said glucose and water for a, a baby, a newborn that is just coming to this earth. As the one to spike the glucose level of the child that is just entering the world. I said, let's keep trying. When the health worker saw that I knew what I was doing, because you see, sometimes this health worker, they are succumbing because of the people around us. When she saw that I was like, no, my child will take breast milk. She changed her tone. She was not like, okay, if I'm willing to wait. And thank God the baby was not crying. So they started expressing for me. Then after about, we tried in the day, there was nothing. Towards the afternoon, going to the evening, when the woman was squeezing my breast, trying to express, she now saw a drop. She said, wow, that means it is entering the baby's mouth. Just that because it is not gushing out yet, that's why it look as though we don't know the baby is feeding well. So everybody now, and that's just one thing about people. Once somebody can say something, others will follow. They were like, it's true. For the baby to continue suckling and he's not tired, that means something is truly entering. So within me, I was like, okay, we have won battle one. So we also that, okay, the baby was feeding. So in fact, the woman now, that was when her expertise was coming out. She now said, for infants, they don't need plenty of breast milk initially. The few drops they get is nutrient filled. I said yes. And I was like, well done, ma. So I was even at ease that, okay, I now have a supporter. Nobody will pressure me to go and get breast milk again. I was like, okay, that was done. So when we got home, grandmothers, they will always have one herbs or one medicine, and they will always have something to say. That was how we took care of your husband. That was how we took care of you. That was how we did this. They are always, and honestly, I was prepared for some of their stories. So when we got home, they were like, we were, they started with water. They said, we'll give this baby water. Oh." That was after 8 days. I said, is the baby thirsty? I said, is the baby thirsty? And babies, they are fond of doing these eye cups. They are frequently. He said, Yoruba, ọmọ ló ń ṣe sókè, check off ọmọ lómi jàre. I said, this baby is not thirsty. If the baby is doing isuke, let us breastfeed the child. And thank God, my grandmother she's an auxiliary, also my mom. So I was not like, hey, mama. Well, is that we used to do those days? Illegal practice. No, thank God they did not even anchor few people. They were like, children of nowadays, everything is always different. I said yes, because times have changed. It is now in the research that the breast milk is enough for the child. We don't need water, you don't need anything. And thank God, thank God for Macrib. So we've been taught that the first milk, like when you are settled, the first one will be lighter towards the breastfeeding process. When the baby keeps suckling towards the middle, it will be getting thicker. That light one is more of water, like the water content. So I was like, they should also see it that this one is giving, so it is more than enough for the child. It's a tug of war when the society. Another one was when the baby was approaching 6 months. They already believe, after 3 months, my mom believes after 4 months your child can start eating. I said, in fact, there was one woman, and the thing is, as new mothers, we should always know that these our grandmothers, they want the best for us, and they are doing what they know to the best of their knowledge. That's the best of the knowledge that they have. You can only practice what you know. So they were like, let this baby start eating. No, and sometimes the child will be crying also. Let this baby start eating. I said, baby start eating. At what month? They said, you can see he's a boy. His stomach is expanding. The breast milk is not even enough again. This, and I said, is this baby looking hungry? Look at the growth charts. Is the growth chart not encouraging? I said, we at least we go for immunizations. They will tell you, your baby is doing well, you are this, you are that. I said, so what else? Why do we need to feed the baby of any other thing? Once they see that, as a first time mom, once they see that you are determined, honestly, there is little they will do. Even when they want to force it, sometimes I throw it to them and I ask them. Sometimes when once they want to force, I'll just ask them, you mothers, those days that you are feeding baby all of these things, you people, you were strong and the babies could contain it. Me, I'm Indomie mommy. Oh, I'm not strong. I did not eat pounded yam like you. So once I say those things, because I just know that fighting them will get me nowhere, especially when the grandmothers are too, they will just be reporting you to themselves. Fighting them will get me nowhere, so I don't even bother to fight them. Sometimes I will just laugh it off, but I will be firm. I remain firm. My baby is not taking any other thing other than breast milk. And sometimes it can be overwhelming when the baby is crying and they are supposed to pat the baby for you. They will just be like, yeah, you already said your baby will cuckoo not eat. Take your baby and feed him. So you just need to be prepared. Don't let whatever they are saying overwhelm you. It's a matter of time. They will come around. I tell you, they will come around. And the beautiful thing is that when they see another new mom that is towing the same path, once they see that your child did well, you were exclusively breastfed, there was no issue, they'll be the one to be telling the new mom, ask iya lagbaja and she did it and come and see. Even when the child was teething, we did not know, because I believe these are one of the things that used to gain them over. All this, the child will start pooing, all of those things. Sometimes infant formula children, they tend to excrete more than, so all of those things were not there. So they don't have any reason. You breastfeed your child regular, they don't have any reason to say, let's stop this thing after after the initial this thing and you've calmed them down. Moreover, after a while they will leave, but they will still keep pestering you on the phone. I've start giving this child water. There was even a day my mom said, do you want to tell me this child have not tasted water even when bathing? I said, grandma, so you have been you have been giving this baby water while bathing? He said, no, 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 that's not what I mean. No. But water might have slipped in. I said, hey, you are forcefully so she was like, no. I said, we cannot assume water have slipped in. I said, moreover, we've not intentionally given him water. I said, the child will be thirsty. I said, the child cannot be thirsty only if the child have tasted water. He does not know what is called thirst yet. The breast milk is more than enough. After all those initial, and there's always, God is so messy. There's always someone out there that does not do exclusive. And you can always ask them. Even the person that is not doing exclusive, even the person that is not practicing exclusive, is the child not having eye cups? These are things you just need to have asked yourself before now. You need to have debunked the myths as a first time mother, so that when they are bringing it to you, all of those things, you will have a response and you will also calm them down. But don't do it as if you are fighting. You are not fighting anybody. They want the best of your interest. So that, in fact, that really helped me. Whenever there's one woman in my church, She was like she wanted to start supplying me pap, all these millet and the likes as at 3 months. I said, wow, mommy, thank you. Oh, you have us in mind. I said, but this pap, I just wanted to clear. Is it for your baby or for me? She said, it's for her son. No. I said, mommy, your son is not taking pap yet. Oh. When it was 4 months, she said the same thing again. In fact, that one my mother-in-law was there. When she said the same thing again, I said, my mother-in-law now said, àwọn alákọ̀wé. She said her child will not take any other thing till 6 months. Then she said, I'm of the small size. She now said, with this my little body, how will I even sustain it? I said, mommy, it's not even about the size of the breast. The content is not about the size of the breast, whether you have a big breast or a small breast. There will be milk inside sufficient for your child. So, all of these meats, as the first time, I'll just be run off with all of these meats. Prepare yourself ahead. Prepare yourself ahead, and don't be bent on fighting them. It's not their fault. They just need proper education. Before I gave birth, I've been asking my mother-in-law, because she's closer to us here. Mommy, this your baby that we are expecting, how many, when will we start giving your baby food? She was like, as for her, after 3 months, no cause for alarm again. I said, mommy, shebi times have changed. We are no longer doing after 3 months. Oh, okay, anyhow you want it, time will tell. Then there's also this myth: your child will not eat after 6 months. Your child will eat. What helped me was, whenever we are eating, the baby is always beside us. In fact, before 6 months, he has been attempting to eat, but we are stopping him. So once it was 6 months and we just allowed this young man to start eating, he
One
was
minute.
eating anything. Like, he was just eating freely, and there was no, in fact, there was no problem when we started feeding him. There was no issue at all. We just started with egg yolk and all of those things. There was no issue at all. In fact, we did not eventually buy any formula food, like all this tin milk. We don't have any reason to buy it eventually. He was feeding well, and his growth charts has always been encouraging, and that was it. Thank you very much. I mute my mic here.
Thank you very much. Please, can we give her a round of applause, a virtual round of applause? She really did well. Thank you so much. So this is a testimony, and I believe all mothers here would have learned one or two things from her. She made mention of lactation. She made mention of how she was one of the health professional. They told her to give the child glucose and milk because she cannot lactate very well. So those are the myths, and thank God for Macri, because you're able to, you are in the support group, and then you're able to say, no, I am not doing this, and you stand by it, you stood by it. So thank you so much. So now I want to ask you some questions. The question I have here is about your partner. Do you think your partner was able to support you enough? Your family, your friends. So you think they are able to support you enough during your breastfeeding journey?
Yes, so yes, so it was very supportive, because even before we gave birth, we have already agreed that we are doing exclusive. So it was very supportive. When see, all these mothers, whenever they are coming with their own school of thoughts, and they see that you, as the mom, you are not really in agreement, the next person they will call is your husband. Hey, come and hear your wife, oh, kirikan kiri, especially my mom. Come and hear your wife, oh, this and that. So whenever they say anything, before they will even call him, this is social media life. They are around, they are taking care of the child. Before we even go and meet him, they might have called. So I would have just dropped the message for him on WhatsApp. See, oh, this is what is going on at the moment. Once she calls you, just know what to say. So he's already prepared. Come and hear your wife, oh, said your son will not take water. See, now the baby is doing high cups. He will just be like, And since they said the baby will not take water, that is it okay? Sometimes you even ask them, is it the water you give the baby now that will stop all of the eye coughs? Let the mother knows what is best. So let's just be open to learning. So once he just say that, they will, he will just excuse himself. And but he was very supportive. He was very, very supportive, and it made the journey very easy in a way. Breastfeeding itself can be demanding, but that made the journey quite easy. It was easier. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that. So I want to ask another question. So, how were you able to manage work demand, and breastfeeding during your breastfeeding journey? Were you able to manage it well? Then, is there any support from your workplace and all of that? So, how do you able to juggle all those?
Well, while I was breastfeeding, there's this. I'm self-employed, so while I was breastfeeding, before I even resumed working at all, my grandmother was like, ah, don't, my mother-in-law, sorry, she was like, don't, because you think you can work, you are already strengthened, though she was even very particular about that I should not attempt to do anything till after about 2 months. She was very particular. So I was just wake up, eat, take care of my baby and all of those things. But then breastfeeding can truly be demanding. So, there are times you just need to rest. There are times you breastfeed through the night, and it is during the day that when you even want to rest, you want to do one or two things before you know it, your baby is awake. It was really demand, and that's just breastfeeding is demanding, especially in the first few days, that first 41 days. Then sometimes the mothers will be like, it's because the child has not yet get used to this our day and night. The child is always awake all through the night. It's truly demanding and exhausting. But then I'm also always eating well. And they're always like, eat well. Oh, they'll prepare food. There's always food at the beck and call. So that really helped. And for the first few months, I was not working. And when I decided to start working, I knew my limits. Because the truth is, as a breastfeeding mother, you should not just feel like you are a champion. No, a whole lot is going on in your body to produce the breast milk. So I knew my limits. I don't Once I am feeling exhausted, I withdraw. That was it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for that response. I believe we are helping mothers and the first time mothers that are in our midst. So the last question I'll be asking is looking back. So what do you think you could have done differently? Is there any regrets?
Well, looking back, I think the only thing I would have done differently is I actually stopped breastfeeding before 2 years because my health, I was just falling sick at the time and I needed to stop. So looking back, I think I would have just equipped myself more for when the child is really growing. When the child is growing, we stop breastfeeding 1 year, 6 months. So, sometimes I'll just look back and be like, no, 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 I did not do well on this part. But I was falling sick. I was falling sick frequently. And it was taking a toll on my health. So looking back, I think I would just have equipped myself better for that time. Yes, better for that time. But for the exclusive part, I think we did well. Macri really equipped us.
Yes, thank you. Round of applause for her. A virtual round of applause for her. Thank you for sharing your experience with us. And I believe that we are learning one or two things. Everyone, incoming mothers, future mother, I believe we are picking something up from what she said. Thank you so much. So we would now will be asking some of our experts some questions about our challenges. So probably they will buttress it and they give us some science backing or something that they think would have worked so that we can help other mothers that are in our midst as well. So I'll be calling on, okay, she's a lactating expert, a consultant. So she's a certified breastfeeding specialist. And how do we strengthen what works biologically right now from birth? So to avoid this pain. So she is an expert, and then she'll be she'll be giving us some solution to what Mrs. Fumlaya just shared. So I'll call on Miss Oreoluwa Oladejo. Miss Oreoluwa Oladejo, are you on the call, please? Is she on the call?
Oh, yes, I am. Good morning.
You're welcome, and thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us. So, about lactation. She make mention of lactation. So, how do we lactate properly as a breastfeeding mother?
Okay, how to lactate properly as a breastfeeding mother? That's the question. All right, to start with, I just want to just make mention that lactation is progressive. It is progressive. It's not something that just comes open and then just keeps flowing like that with full force. Because I noted from what she mentioned about how when she started breastfeeding, the milk, she saw that it came out in drops when the hand expressed it. And that's a very, very vital thing that she experienced personally that many people do not know. They just feel like, oh, once I put to bed like this, the milk will be rivers, the milk will be flowing. So it is progressive. It is progressive. We have the colostrum, we have the mature milk. So, and as the phase of breastfeeding keeps going, you will have different levels of milk production. In fact, even the content keeps changing. The content will change based off the feed. Even within the feed, it will still change. Even through the growth of your baby, it will still change. You'll also notice that the content and the quality of the milk, when your child is even sick, it will still also get different. So enabling your milk production, understand it in phases. And so from the beginning, when you have your colostrum, the little drops is important. And helping production at that point starts from pregnancy. I feel like many mothers, she also said it, that they just feel because breastfeeding is natural, it should just happen. It should be easy. It should come without stress. But it is a skill. So before pregnancy is where the preparation comes for colostrum. From 36 weeks entering your labor and delivery, there's expected to be breast stimulation. You can do it, breast massages, just light ones in the when you want to have your bath, just with warm water, even the partner can do it. And it's even at that phase that you can start detecting some things for yourself before even doctor's examination. Some women end up having inverted nipples, and it is when they put to bed that you'll be seeing all of these things. And all of these things are contributions. It is from before pregnancy, you start learning about good latch, how to know if your baby is getting enough milk, because breastfeeding works with demand and supply. The higher the demand, the more the supply. I want you to just hold that throughout the phase of breastfeeding. The higher the demand, the more the supply. So within that first 6 months that you want to exclusively breastfeed, once you start adding water, herbs, any other things that we give these children before 6 months, it will affect the demand. The baby will be filled up, the stomach will be filled up, and there will be little or no breast stimulation. And it's breast stimulation that you need to produce more milk. So that's a very important thing that you should note for increasing milk production. And also another thing is your own diet. Even though your body is ready to do this thing and it prioritizes lactation, you need to focus on your health. You need a very balanced meal, balanced protein, carbohydrate, because that's what your body is drawing energy from. You are breastfeeding, you are losing your what's it called? Your calorie intake has to increase. So if that is low, you will see the effect also in your milk. And also rest. Take enough water and rest. Breast milk is fluid. So you need to take enough water and you need to rest. I feel these are just little tips that can help to support more milk production.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for that answer. So she's an expert, so everyone, she's an expert, and she has given us expert review. She has given us expert solution. So my next question, I'll be asking about um cases where mother is struggling but under pressure, maybe from family members. So from cultural, maybe they will give them a go because mother-in-law. So they'll be giving them something that's okay. You have to give it to this child. So what would you say about that? How would you come in? Then what solution do you think we can give mothers in this regard? Thank you.
Okay, I think it reminds me of one case I had recently. The mother came up with, she just came to the clinic that day and she was just ranting. Oh, my baby is not adding weight. This is self-inflicted pressure just from the mother herself. Like she started comparing a baby with the older baby she has raised. The baby is not as chubby, this, and she went to get infant formula. And that's another thing that I've noticed, that many mothers either pressure from people like the first speaker, the mother that shared her experience. You hear many of these advices. Hey, I use this baby formula. See the way my baby is chubby. It's very common. So she did. We Nigerians, I think we are used to self-prescribing things. We don't go through professionals. You just feel like it worked for this person. I've seen them do it. Let me just do it without even asking the basic professional upfront. Ask them questions. So about that, taking off pressure starts from getting information. It starts from understanding the science, the mechanism, not all the scientific things, but consult with your healthcare. Just ask them the questions. Oh, ma, can I do this? Oh, is this okay for me to do? Don't just make decisions for yourself. And then another thing I would do is validate their emotions, because it can be a very emotional journey too. Some people are frustrated, some people are tired. So it's not just, oh, just do this. You are just straight to the point. Let me just tell you what to do and leave it like that. I think their mental health too is very important. We have some mothers that are going through postpartum blues, depression, and all of those things. And it's out of frustration, out of what is going on. Sometimes they just even need you to first listen to them. They need someone to just listen to them first, to just rant. Okay, now we'll find the problem and we'll solve it. So, and another thing that I've seen, because my mom is also a health practitioner, she works at the primary healthcare center. So these are things that we just randomly just talk about, and cases like that. So you can also see the family members of the patient, the mothers. If you can come to clinic with your mother-in-law, your mother, it will also help to take off pressure. Because there's one thing I know, these people used to respect health professionals. When they say, doctor said this, so this is what we'll do. Okay, I've learned. I've spoken with even some grandmothers that they came to antenatal the MPI immunization units with their daughters. Some are the mother-in-laws. So as we are giving the talk, as they are listening to it, they are taking notes. They will even ask questions. What can I do to support her? Okay, she's resuming work. The baby will be with me at home. So it's also a good way to relieve pressure. If you can have your partner or the person that will be staying with you for Umugo and all of those things, if you can bring them along to immunization and let them hear this information, let them learn, it will take off pressure. And also social media consumption. We really don't know. There are lots of advices everywhere, but you need to check in with your healthcare provider. And Macrib is doing a very beautiful job having that support group for mothers. You know that your judgment is not clouded. You're not hearing everything. You focus on it and learn from there. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that wonderful explanation. Thank you so much, ma. Thank you, thank you. So now I'll be calling on the second mother to share her experience. I hope she is with us. Thank you so much, Miss Oreoluwa Oladejo. So I'll be calling on Mrs. Oluwafemi. So you have just 7 minutes to share your experience with us. Is she on the call? Mrs. Oluwafemi.
Good morning, everybody. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Good morning, ma'am.
Hello? Okay,
We
good
can hear
morning,
you loud and
everyone. Okay, thank you to Macri for this opportunity. I'm sorry I'm at the redemption camp, so my network is off and on, but I believe that everybody will hear what I can say. Okay, so let me share my experience. By the way, I'm a mom of four, and all my four children were exclusively breastfed. Now, the peculiarities I personally I didn't experience the pressure parts of using maybe agbo or adding water. That was not my own experience. But I had experience with latching at the baby. As for my first baby, I had the challenge of latching, proper latching for my baby. He would just have the nipple in his mouth and he's sucking me dry and my nipples are bleeding. It took me a while to be able to, to handle that situation. And then when I had my third and fourth, the two of them were through cesarean section. I had the problem of my babies preferring one breast to the other. I don't know if anybody has experienced that. If you just put in that one they don't like, if you like give them to the next 1 year, they will not suck it. And it was a problem for me because the breast was getting engorged, and the other one they were busy sucking and enjoying. What's going on? So it was a major problem for me. Then I had this my nipples peeling. I don't know if that has to do with cesarean, maybe the anesthesia or something. But I noticed that in my two babies that were cesarean, and that it was cesarean section I used to give birth to them, I had my problem with peeling nipples. I mean bleeding nipples, not just peeling and serious bleeding. The nipples were bleeding. I could not breastfeed. At a point, I had to be expressing into a bottle for them to suck. It was very, very in short. I'll be crying. The little time I said, let me just try and breastfeed this baby. By the time I breastfeed for like 2 minutes, the baby is crying, I'm crying because my nipples are bleeding everywhere. It's so painful. So those were the two major challenges I had with my babies. However, I discovered that with time, for those first two that were not delivered with cesarean, with time I was able to overcome that latching issue. I learned about putting a pillow, under and then placing the baby on the pillow. It made breastfeeding easier. The baby is closer to my nipples now, and I can put the breast in their mouth without any stress. But the last two, I won't lie. At a point, I was like, what's going on? I can't even breastfeed. If I wear bra, by the time I'm removing my bra, the skin of my nipples would have clung to the bra because it's leaking out tissue fluid and everything. To even remove the nipple from the bra is a problem. So I had to start expressing inside a bottle because I wanted to maintain that exclusive breastfeeding. So I was expressing inside a bottle. At a point that we changed to cup and spoon, I will express into the cup, then I use spoon to feed them. But with time, I think as the effect of the anesthesia was wearing out, my nipple was healing. Then towards like second month, everything was properly healed, and then I was able to breastfeed normally without any stress. Then there's this myth about babies will not eat. I don't believe that works because for me, I believe that if a baby is picky, regardless of whatever it is you are giving that child. So all of my babies, the four of them, I didn't have any issues post exclusive breastfeeding. In short, the day they're about to start eating, oh my god, we always have the videos, always very interesting because they're in a hurry to eat. And it's always a very beautiful experience. I found out that once your baby wants to eat, or once you have discovered what they like, because at some point, one of sons, I started with him with I think it was Friso Gold that was raining that time. So I bought Friso Gold for him. I gave him. in like 1 hour. He put like 3 times. He was not blending with the system. He was pouring anyhow, messing up himself. And one of the crutch women just suggested, "Ah, madam, go and buy pap for this. Chelsea does not like all this friso cream, friso gold that you are buying for him." And pap is Arab food, you know. But she encouraged me that if I buy it, I put milk, I put the baby would in short. When I bought the pap and we made the pap, by the time this baby took the pap, Jesus, I'm like, I'm just offering this baby since. The baby took the pap conveniently, he enjoyed it, and since that particular baby, I stopped buying all this baby food. All I stopped buying it. Moment my babies are ready to eat, I get the pap and they eat without stress. Then I also had good support from my place of work. At the time, it was 3 months my maternity leave, but currently it is 6 months. When I had my last baby, we stayed at home for 6 months, so we had enough time to bond and to do our exclusive breastfeeding. There was no pressure. But by the time we were doing the 3 months, we had a crutch in my. I work in the hospital, by the way, so we have a crutch in the hospital, and my head of unit was very supportive. Once they call me, the baby is crying, oh, come and breastfeed. I go there, breastfeed my baby, and then we were permitted to close by 2 p.m. I'm a medical lab scientist. We don't run morning to night. So we're permitted to close by 2. So by 2, I take my baby and we are home. So those are the little itches I had with breastfeeding. But aside that, it's such a beautiful experience. But one thing I've personally learned is that the biggest success of breastfeeding comes from being intentional and being decisive even before you have your baby. A lot of people already before having their baby, they're like, oh, breastfeeding is too stressful, Jare, exclusive, it's too stressful, I can't do it. So the moment you already conclude in your heart that you can't do it or it's too stressful, when you now face little challenges along the line, you quickly, I bet let me just look for alternative. I can't stress myself. But once you make up your mind, just like the first speaker said, once you make up your mind that yes, this is what I want to do, you will go all out to do it, and it will be a successful experience. Then the other thing I also feel that we should emphasize on is the role of the health workers. As a health worker myself, I feel that a lot of the time we are also part of the problem. Nurses attend to a pregnant woman and you tell her, well, how does exclusive breastfeeding they are saying? It's not just give your child anything. You know, see, encourage them the wrong way. We don't tell them that let them stick to that exclusive breastfeeding. Some nurses have been the reason why some mothers decided not to do exclusive breastfeeding because they make it look as if we only teach you these things on paper. Practically, even we ourselves don't do it. So why should I enforce you to do it? So we need to work on ourselves and ensure that we encourage mothers to breastfeed exclusively. And finally, as I'll be stopping, finally, I feel that there should be a lot of advocacy in antenatals. Many women do not hear these things in antenatal. They just gloss over it and that's it. But if we learn how to, like our lactation experts mentioned about preparing yourself before delivery and all of that, if they get to learn these things in the course of the antenatal, it will be a better experience by the time they have their babies. These challenges they face will not be new to them because they're already learning, they're already exposed, they know what to expect. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for your experience. I really love it. Thank you. So let's appreciate her. Thank you. So I will not be asking you much question because of our time. So I would now move to the experts. So we have experts in our midst. We have dietitian. She's a dietitian. She's a lecturer as well. So we have dietitian Halagbo in our midst, and she will be talking to your concern. You may mention of health workers that health workers need to do better. They need to educate. They need to have proper education so they can know what to tell breastfeeding mothers. So I will call on Daisha Alagbo to speak on this. Thank you so much.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. I want to
That's
believe you can. Yeah. Now, how can people in the academia or probably people in the research help and also probably foster, you know, this um, help for our health practitioners? Sometimes after our researches, our studies, Market has been doing well, reaching out to them. And thank God, recently in the nation also, there was this milestone training to bring the health professional to page. I think really the issue is not that they don't know the right thing. Of course, we may have few of them that probably do not know, but sometimes they may get overwhelmed, and being overwhelmed, they may not be able to effectively carry out their task. Somebody that's supposed to be attending to just two patients in the shift have probably close to 15 to attend to. So, but the thing is, we constantly need to remind them, reach out to them, speak to them, give them probably better approaches to how to go about their duty, and most importantly, remind them of the long-term implications of some of these things. The government is trying to train them to bring them to pitch to the reality of how we can improve the health of the nation. However, we also need to constantly go and remind them and also probably engage with them to know their challenges, not actually firing them because we need them to be on that duty post, actually. So if we don't fire them, we interact with them, we bring them um some better approaches, encourage them, and also probably check up on them frequently. I think with this, we'll be able to have good relationship with them and also have them to do their work, get them on track to do their work. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Really appreciate you. The first mother make mention of glucose that the health professional tells her to give a child glucose and water. So, how do we educate those health professionals? Because you said that they know the right thing, but why are they giving us something else? So, what do you, what's the solution for that?
Okay. It's for some of these people giving prelactia feeds. Some health workers even themselves may not actually go through the right guideline to how to go about things in managing babies or managing even parents, especially the mothers when they just put to bed. I don't know if you have probably be able to help us if there is penalty in the nation that is actually working. You know, if somebody goes against the guideline, even in pediatric medicine, there are guidelines to go about things, how and when to bring this. And it should be informed with probably the lactation consultants or the nurses at the desk, not just somebody sitting down and deciding that the next line of action is to give water. Have we helped the mother enough to be rested? Have we tried to bring the baby? Was the baby even brought to the mother in the first hour of birth? Some of these concerns, if they are taken care of, these practices will be reduced. And also, if mothers know their rights, also, they can actually speak to these things and say, no, let me put the baby to breast first. However, if the child has probably a medical condition, probably it's a macrosomal baby, there is a guideline to follow, not just doing things haphazardly. If we have a punishment for all these things, wrongdoings, as telling mothers to do some very nasty things are not probably right, or the guideline does actually support. Yes, I think we'll be doing the right thing. We'll be doing the right. If we can keep reminding them of the adverse effects of these things in this, if the baby is exposed to this at this stage, what is the effect? If they can remember, not probably in our teaching hospitals, in the primary health centers, where we have chills there and they are a bit localized, especially in our own environment here. If they understand the nitty-gritty and know the impact of these things, I think they will do better. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for that answer. So my last question to you, Ma, is sustainability. Thank you for appreciating everyone. So what does sustainability mean to you, and how can we encourage mothers to go in that route? So in your research
Okay.
work, what does sustainability means? Thank you, Ma.
Okay, really, if looking at this question, when we say sustainability, it looks like a big grammar. It just means lasting. Can this thing last? What will last? The way we go about it, the support programs we do they have lasting impact? Or is just a short time, short term bomb and all of that? It means if the mother is still breastfeeding in the hospital, will the mother still breastfeed for the next 6 months as speculated or as required? And not just that, is somebody checking up on them after 2 weeks? Is the nurse still calling? Do we, if these things are actually in place, we discover that mothers will likely breastfeed more. There was somebody that delivered recently that I was with, and she was why she should. During that period, WHO was doing a research, and oftentimes the doctors come to check, the nurses come to take to have the growth chart of the baby. Even the day the child was christened, they were there to measure the child, encourage the mother, put the mother through, not just dropping leaflets or even putting them to some applications on their phones. They were really actually checking up. So with this, we have lasting support. That is the sustainability part of it, not just putting a program to them. Who is checking up on the program? Not about funding a research in that area. After the research, you have left them for 2 weeks. They have decided to do exclusive breastfeeding. Are the nurses checking up? Are the dietitians checking up? Are they encouraging? And with that, if these are put in place, then we have a sustainability in as a word now. It will be sustainable. Breastfeeding will be long lasting. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you so much. Can we appreciate her? Thank you for your time, Ma. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining. And thank you for giving us expert solution. We really appreciate you. Thank you, Ma. So thank you. Keep appreciating her. So now, lastly, I would like to call on a mother, so she have just 5 minutes to share her experience with us. She's part of our support group as well, and she's willing to share her experience with us. So I'll call on Mrs. Ogochukwu. I hope I pronounced that well. So please, the virtual podium is yours. Please, can you share your experience, the good parts, the ugly parts, not so good parts? So in just 5 minutes, because I see that all our breastfeeding mothers, they are enjoying the experience. They are sharing with us, and the time is not on our side. Thank you. No. Thank you, everyone. Thank you,
Okay,
Mrs. Ogochi.
good morning, everybody. Sorry, it's morning here. So, yes, oh, I think it should be like 12. Okay, yeah, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ogoshuku, and I'm equally a mother to 4 boys. So, I've exclusively breastfed 4 boys. In fact, my fourth baby just stopped exclusive breastfeeding yesterday because he turned 6 months, and all of the kids have been breastfed up to 2 years and some beyond 2 years with complementary feeding. So my experience have been different for each child because, of course, for my first child, which is only my first experience, he had to be in the NICU, right? So that opportunity to bond in those first critical hours were not there for me, and he was there for like 1 week. So the need to establish, my breast milk, I had to put in that effort. Do you understand? Because the baby is not there to readily latch. So I had to get a breast pump, right? And thankfully I had a working refrigerator. So I got a breast pump, and I was pumping as if the baby was there every time. So I would pump, go back to the hospital, to the NICU, and feed him for the 3 hours. We are told coming every 3 hours. And then I will also keep some for him there with the nurses so they can feed him too. This journey really takes being intentional and being determined. You are convinced that this is what I want to do for my child. And what I would want to say to us first is that a child's nutrition in the first 1,000 days is very, very important, very, very critical for brain development. So, knowing that, despite the difficulty that came with the baby not being there, you just had a baby, and then the baby is not, at least for the first 3 days, every other mother is there in the postpartum ward with their child. And me, I'm there, and my baby is not there with me. And for instance, the hospital I used in Lagos, the NICU ward is like in the third floor, and then postpartum mothers are on the first floor. So I would pump down, take it upstairs every 3 hours, and it was really hard because my baby probably had latching issues. He preferred the bottle to the breast, because of course supply was still trying to build because of not being close to me at that time. So it's just like the sacrifice we need to make, to ensure that these babies are getting the nutrition they need. So this was my experience of my first child, right? Because the second, the third, and the fourth, it all came in naturally because they were not in the NICU. And I didn't have the problem of, people trying to pressure me into not breastfeeding, because my mother was one that came for the mogo, and she probably exclusively breastfed myself and my younger ones. So that was a game changer for me. So she understood why I was doing what I was doing. So she was okay, you need to drink this pap to make sure that your breast milk is flowing well. You need to take enough hydration. She even got me fenugreeks to take fenugreeks to boost my breast milk supply. All of those hot soups that they give to us as mothers. She was making sure that I had all of the lots of protein in my food, because your body needs to have building blocks to work with, right? So, she was making sure that I ate well, I was relaxed to produce the breast milk I needed at that point in time to feed my child. And for me, that was a game changer, like support. My husband understood why we were doing what we were doing, so we were on board. So there was this support I had, so that even when the child was not there with me physically, I'm not dealing with, okay, struggling with people. Oh, why are you doing this? Allow them to give formula. And the funny part of it was, even I had the nurses say to me in the hospital, Madam, you are doing too much. Eh? Just rest. See, your leg is swollen from climbing up and down. Rest. We'll give baby breast and we'll give baby formula. We have formula here. We have lots of them here. Right? But is that resolve? Is that resolve that I had in me that, oh, this is what is best for my child? Especially because this baby already needs NICU stay. I really need to work hard to make sure that I'm giving him a good start to life, you know. And yes, that was the major thing for me. The other part was also people suggesting I give me myself, I drink palm wine to boost my breast supply, because as baby was not there, I had supply issues. I had to like consistently like pump all the time. And so, I had to tell them, I'm not about to raise an alcoholic, because it is what you eat that the baby will get from the breast milk. And alcohol is not good for babies. So once you ingest the palm wine, um, in fact, immediately it's going to come out from your breast, and your child will be sucking that. So and the funny part of it was that even in the hospital, I saw people bringing palm wine to their spouse, and the nurses were not saying anything. They were compliant. I'm like, we're raising alcoholics, so and for me it probably meant that we needed to talk to the healthcare practitioners to understand that within the healthcare environment they should equally enforce these things. They should equally enforce this and know and put their legs down and tell parents this is not okay, you know, and provide the right guidance. Another thing I really think would help mothers is that during antenatal, not just when you've given birth, during antenatal, if the person that will stay with you when you give birth is around, right? Bring them to antenatal. When they're giving you the talk on breastfeeding, on why you should exclusively breastfeed, on the things you need to support you during breastfeeding. Come with
Okay.
your mother-in-law, your mother, your husband, whoever would be
Okay.
there for you during those first few months. Let them hear it too.
All right.
Preparation helps you to perform well. When you prepare ahead of time, it helps you to perform well. So that people are not already dragging. Are we going to drink milk? Are we not going to drink milk? Before you know it, someone has bring baby milk at your back before you even bring the person to the hospital to talk to the doctor. So go ahead of time to the antenatal with your mother, with your spouse. Let them hear this. Let them see why we are doing what we are doing. Do you
All right.
understand?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that experience and for that little thing that you have. So I think health professionals they are here and they can hear us loud and clear. So there are lots of things and that's why we have a meeting. We have a physical meeting that is coming up on the 5th of this month, because to include health professionals, healthcare workers, nurses, and all doctors, so they will be available. So we need to sensitize them. They need to learn from us because they cannot just be giving us things that doesn't work. So now I will be directing some questions to dietitian Alagbo. So my question is, she make mention of fenugreek. Do you think fenugreek and also palm wine as well? So I want us to just pack that together and then you can answer the question. So do you think fenugreek helps in proper lactation? Do you think it helps in the milk supply? And then palm wine as well. Do you think it works? So from the research perspective, thank you, ma.
Yeah, actually, I've read about fenugreek. I've heard about it. At the last NSN conference in Port Harcourt, I think Prof was also one in that plenary session, if I'm right, where somebody presented a systematic, I think a review. I'm not sure whether it's systematic, but it was quite enlightening that we found out that fenugreek was very, very good. Like it's a lactogenic food. It's a spice that have been in pride. People have been using for day-to-day cooking, spicing their foods. If you know fenugreek, it naturally smells like jollof rice itself. So I really think it's really working. It's probably classified as a spice that could serve as a lactogenic food. And of course, it's not something we eat in large quantity. Probably make them as a tea, like blended, make them as a tea. It could stimulate. So research, some studies have actually shown that. However, we probably will need to also follow that up to see if it's actually working and probably do a randomized control trials, researchers in that area. I don't know if Prof has also, I'm sure she will have heard about this a lot of time, people talking about fenugreek. However, for the dose, the required dose per time, per body weight of the mother, looking at the health is perhaps something we could actually explore more. I don't have full details on that. On the palm wine issue, I have my reservations for palm wine. Like the mother that just spoke, she gave us an excellent and a fantastic, explanation of our ordeal with people in the world. And it's quite surprising to me that people will be bringing palm wine to the hospital. Do they want to get drunk? And if these things are leaching out into the breasts, to the babies, I hope they do not have adverse effect, especially on the brain formation, knowing alcohol, fetal alcohol syndrome, even when they were pregnant. I don't really know if that is going to have an adverse effect because I'm not sure if you have seen studies that have seen the adverse effect of this post using them as a lactogenic food. However, we may actually discover what works for us as individuals because our bodies are different. The way our body responds to food generally, aside even whether breastfeeding or not, is quite different. Some people find gari as a lactogenic food also. So you look at what is good for you. Some people it's oats. Some people the ogi will not even work. So like we always know as nutritionists or dietitians, things are individualized. But for that palm wine, I have personal reservation for that. Although some people see it as lactogenic for them, and probably because of the fluid content. We know fluid can also support lactogenesis, and I've read about fenugreek. I've heard it presented, and I think it works well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I don't know if our lactation consultant expert have something to say about this. Miss Areoluwa, are you on the call?
Oh, yes, I am. The palm wine thing also have reservations about it because there's no much scientific proof that it works, and the alcohol content will end up just causing more adverse effects. But there are also other galactogoggle foods, like she has mentioned. We have the oats, we have the milk teasels, the fenugreek, and different things will work for different people. But some people also feel like, oh, because I'm taking these things, why is my milk not coming a lot? But the magic is not even what you're eating. There are many other reasons that could affect all of those things. And that's why I say there should be no self recommendation. You just decide to do as you please. So we should be very careful on that because there are so many things that could be affecting milk supply. We should not just jump into conclusions or assume and take matters into our hands. And healthcare providers, I see we really need to do more on our path and see how we can improve this whole thing. Because hearing the mother share experience about how, oh, you are doing too much, why we'll give your baby formula, it really broke my heart. Because what we want is this baby's health and survival and increase the chances of survival in NICU. Breast milk is that optimal thing that would do it for us. So I feel that's the heartbreaking part of everything. She could even have offered, what if I come to get it at certain periods from you? If climbing the stairs will cause more issues for you, is there someone around that can be dropping off the milk? I mean, there are so many other ways to approach prioritizing the mother's health and even the baby rather than shutting them down. So I feel we just need to do better in that field, more education and more approach. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for that contribution. Thank you so much. So breast milk is perfect. Breast milk is 100%. Is natural. So I don't know why. Because there's one influencer I saw. I don't know if we know Vicky James. She also take palm wine because I saw it on this thing on our Instagram page too. So I believe there's more research, or probably we can check that out. But I know that palm wine is alcoholic. So and there's nothing the mother eats that will not, that will not affect the baby no matter what. So it will leak to the breast milk. So we should be conscious of what we eat and what we drink. I think water is life, hydration. So yeah, that's all I have to say. So I want to, if you have any question, please drop your question so we can tackle it once and for all. So while we are waiting for those questions, because we don't have time at all again, so I want us to write this on the chat. I support breastfeeding mother. I pledge to support breastfeeding mother. I pledge to support breastfeeding mothers. So while we wait for questions.
I have something to say. Thank you.
All right, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody. I really want to thank our mothers for their experiences. Honestly, I pencil so many things down. I will read out some of them because they are really interesting to me, and I think I will also have to work on it. But let me clear alcohol. Research have shown that the level of alcohol in the blood of the mother will enter the breast milk. So if the mother is consuming so much of alcohol, then that baby is consuming so much of alcohol. And that also will affect, that can also affect milk production and also damage brain cells and shrink brain tissues. So we should warn mothers of alcohol. Then also on fenugreek, there's no much evidence, like she has said as well, that's the lactation consultant. There's no much evidence on fenugreek, so we should be careful of the level, because that was the question I asked at that conference. How much of fenugreek do we have to consume for it to work out for us? Lactation consultant also mentioned something. When it comes to breastfeeding, so many factors are responsible. And there's psychology when it comes to breastfeeding. What you believe is what will work for you. If you believe Gary will work for you, it is the Gary that will work. So you cannot recommend your own, what works for you, for anybody. Let research do that. Then my other question is, breastfeeding, whose responsibility? Is it the responsibility of the nurse, the doctor, or nutritionist? For us, most of us are nutritionists. We should not just sit in our office. We should be there talking about breastfeeding. Let me share two things that happened to me yesterday alone. I was in my office because there was no light. I opened my door, and because the banner of my inaugural was in my office, somebody just saw breastfeeding, and she entered. She said, "Ma, I'm here. I want to ask a question about breastfeeding. When should I stop?" I said, "Okay. Number one, how did you know that I know anything about breastfeeding?" She said, "I saw the banner." Okay, I educate her. You have to stop at 24 months. She said so many people have been discouraging her. Why is she breastfeeding a child that is running all over the place? Why is she? Why is she? And I gave her my breastfeeding book. Go and give your husband that is also harassing you. Let him read about that. That same yesterday, too, one of her sisters gave birth through CS. She was in the hospital. I rushed her. She told me, she said, she know that the first question I will ask is, have you started latching? And also, are you breastfeeding already? And when I got there, she's actually lactating, but she was not breastfeeding. Why? Because she was in so much pain. The nurses, instead of them to encourage her to express so that she can give the baby, they ask her to go and buy naan. I talked and talked. But because she was in a lot of pain, they didn't allow her to do anything. And I can't force, because it's actually a private hospital, I can't force any nurse. My question now is, the health workers, is it that somebody asked that, is it that they don't know what to do? Sometimes they know what to do, but they're overwhelmed. Because that health worker yesterday, when I saw her, she was attending to so many, she was the only one on duty, attending to all the mothers that gave birth. So where will she have time to sit with one mother and be saying, this is how to latch? This is how, she just told them, get now, and told them how to mix the thing, and she left. We have a lot of work to do. I think we are not doing enough. But how many of us are actually doing anything? We should ask ourselves. If you also notice, mothers came with different experiences. I wrote them down. Breastfeeding boys. Somebody said she breastfed 4 boys. And somebody is breastfeeding only one boy and she's screaming. Somebody was on a group that breastfed 2 boys at the same time. They will always tell you boys will eat more. That's one experience. Somebody breastfeeding after CS. Somebody breastfeeding in ICU. Somebody's baby preferring the other breast. Baby preferring bottle after feeding in ICU. The grandmother that did EBF encouraged her own mother, her own daughter to do it. Then, if you also listen to the mothers, there is breastfeeding preparation before in pregnancy, and there is also the role of pumping. So when we want to do our counseling, I think all these things we should note them and give a complete package, and also do individualized counseling, because mother will always come with different experiences that we need to attend to. For me today, I just realized that, wow, we still have a lot of work to do. And I pray God will help us to do. We need more volunteers, honestly, to all go out. I think we should leave our comfort zone and go out to where those mothers are. And also the health workers. They need to hear that message over and over and over again for them to buy in and support mothers. Thank you very much. Over.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you. I wanted to call you. I wanted to call you at the end of the meeting. Oh, thank you for the contribution. Thank you so much. So if you want to volunteer with us, we have our link, our website link. You can volunteer with us. And also, if you want to be part of the support group, breastfeeding support group, we have the link also. You can join us. And as experts, if you think, okay, you want to give expert review, you want to give us solutions to mothers problem or challenge, you can reach out, or you can reach out to me, or you can reach out to Prof as well. So you can be part of those experts that will be helping or supporting breastfeeding mother, because I saw that we pledge to support breastfeeding. So I want us to pledge. The only way we can pledge to support breastfeeding mother is to support them in the little way we can, through research, through education. We have a lot to do, like she said, we have a lot to do for our health practitioners. And she said they are not enough, and they will just give you something that they think it can work quickly. So there's a need for nutritionists, dietitian to, to reach out to, educate people more. And then that's what Macrib is doing. So you can join us as well. We also have breastfeeding book. We have breastfeeding book, the answers, the questions and answers. So I don't know if the technical can put it there. I don't have the link with me, but if you have the link, you can put it on the chat so mothers can get it and they can, purchase it. So thank you so much. Thank you for joining in, and I'll be calling on Prof to give a vote of 10. Before that, quickly, we have our physical event on the 5th of August. So I want us to fill the form and to be part of the conversation. We have a lot of things to say, but time will not permit us. We have a lot to say. So I want you to be part of the program. We are in Ife, you can join. So I want the technical to put the the link on the chat so people can join, people can register, and then they can be part. So if you are in Ileife, so it is happening in OATAC. So you can join and you can be part of the conversation. Thank you. So over to you, Prof. Hello, Ma, are you on the call? Okay, while I wait for her, we already have the events. So our physical events on the chat. So breastfeeding for a sustainable start in life, strengthening what works. So 5th of August 2026, College of Nursing Sciences, OATAC Ileife. So if you are around, if you are available, it is starting by 10 a.m. if I am right. So I want you to be part of the conversation because there's so much to unpack. Thank you so much. Prof, are you on the call, ma? So I can see that okay, yes. Hello, ma, you have the floor, ma.
Oh, hello. Oh, sorry, my network threw me out. I'm so sorry. I want to say a big thank you to everybody for coming today. Mothers sharing their experiences. That experiences that shaped our advocacy again. So know what to do, what to go, who to attack, I need to harass. And I think is like a ginger that we need to do more, actually. We need to support mothers the more. I want to thank you very much for sharing your experiences. And for the experts, I want to say thank you so much for sharing your experts' advice for us, to us as mothers, to us as advocates. We really appreciate it. We hope that next time when we call you, you'll be available to join us again. We are grateful. Moderator Gracious, thank you very much for moderating this program. Great advocate, volunteers of MACRIB. I say thank you, thank you, thank you 1,000,000 times for making this World Breastfeeding Week a success, especially our online program. And I believe our physical meeting also will be a success. Thank you very much, everybody. God bless you.
Amen. Thank you so much, ma. Thank you everyone for joining in. So we meet again on 5th of August, where we talk more about breastfeeding. So happy World Breastfeeding Week once again, and happy new month to you all.